Welcome back to CMG Console Me Gaming Weekly Podcast.
Yay!
We're gonna
in radio quotations.
Radio quotations weekly.
It's like if you keep hearing that it's real, maybe people will believe it's real. She's beautiful, honestly.
Coming this Sunday.
We're happy to introduce to you this month's episode of your weekly gaming podcast.
We're back.
We're back, baby.
And we're here to celebrate that by giving you an extra shorter episode.
Yay.
Consistency.
Due to time constraints.
Time risk.
No, I was about to say time restraints, but it sounds hostile.
Time breakers.
Okay. So, as usual, I am Craig. This is Gary. You don't know who I'm pointing to.
Hello.
The other guy's Mark. And then there's Irv.
Ho ho,
But that's all we have
motherfuckers.
time for. Let's move forward into the news. You can find us in places that you'll probably see in the descriptions, but there's no time to go through them. Gary, don't even start. Okay. I'll give you one vowel.
Hey.
Cap. Okay. So we'll go right into it. We'll go into the news. First, Borderlands 3 has been announced.
No one
at
gives a
PAX
fuck.
East. Mark won't. Mark
doesn't give a fuck.
Mark
I don't
really
give a
doesn't-
fuck.
Mark really doesn't like Randy.
Gearbox can suck my ass.
I give all the
Especially
fucks.
Randy
So what
They have never
did
done-
Gearbox do to you? What did they touch you at night?
Colonial
Or
Marines. They touched it.
But
They made Mark pay a ridiculous amount of money.
But all
that
the
everyone else paid
Gearbox
a penny
games
for.
are
Yeah.
masterpieces. They're cultural landmarks in
Yeah,
our
but
society.
it's not a Gearbox game. That's the problem with it.
Yeah, they outsourced it to Ballz. Not a company called Ballz. I was meaning Balls.
Big controversy. The E3 trailer looked amazing, and then what
Then,
was
yeah,
released was absolutely
it was
nothing
terrible.
like that.
This is- yeah.
Because basically what Randy
They lied.
Well, what Randy Pitchford did was he took
Well, actually, we
all
need-
the money from Sega, used it to make Borderlands 2, and then outsourced and
Colonial
delayed
Marine.
Colonial Marines to third parties, which
Okay.
didn't really make a very good game.
Yeah.
And then Sega were on the verge of suing them, so they
was
just released
deceptive.
what they had.
Yeah,
well.
deceptive.
we need to do reactions especially for you because you'd be like the most.
Randy. The thing is, though, Randy Pitchford is also one of the best things to happen to Killzone 2 in the past now, because everyone used to always mention the
I don't care.
vertical slice of how Killzone 2 created this really deceptive first impression that they said was gameplay, but it wasn't. It was the usual, it's the render, it's the pitch render,
pre-render thing.
yeah, and then that was always used as the bad example, and now it's Colonial Marines.
The soulless, cheap way of selling a game.
But they're about to release Battleborn. You love Battleborn.
Battleborn was good.
You wake up every day and you tell me about
love the twist
Battleborn. You love me about. You love talking about Battleborn. You love you some Battleborn. Battleborn.
Yeah.
It was good.
He released Duke Nukem Forever.
And that was the worst thing. They fucked up Sasha as
Oh,
well.
Duke Nukem Forever.
They are a studio that essentially at this point are living off of Borderlands 2.
Yeah. I mean, Borderlands 2 was good. I'm sure Borderlands 3 will be good. I'm sure I probably will play it, but I won't be happy about it.
Okay.
Did you play
enjoy it against
Moving on!
Did you play online co-op with Mark?
Yes, I played
And
online
then we
co-op.
had
No, I
long
played.
distance conversations. Hey Mark, and that was it.
I had online.
That was
co-op.
our
Solid friendship.
one of our first conversations.
I played online co-op with these two,
I
with Gary
remember.
and Mark, and Gary fell asleep
I
playing
fell
the
asleep.
game.
That was right.
Gary was offering a turret.
Yeah, I was on a string of like a couple of 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
So I was just coming off them, and like those two were like going along. It's like, come on, we're gonna take this part, and then there's me in the corner just going,
Gary, fire! Gary, we're dying!
Mark was driving like a Jeep thing beside me. I was driving a tank, and Gary was operating the turret. And all you could hear was.
Why is
nothing-
anybody firing?
And nothing was happening. He was just sitting in his turret, and I went to Mark. Mark, Gary's asleep. He's literally asleep in the turret.
I'm so sorry. I was so tired.
We still never made it out of those ice caves.
No, we didn't.
But no, it was fun times.
Moving on.
Yep. In other news, we also Mirror's Edge has been delayed.
Shock.
It's only by month.
Yeah, a month or
It's
so.
joined
For
the
now.
prestigious
It's the
delay
Yeah.
2016.
But they've delayed it like 22 days from release, so who's not going to say they're not going to delay it again
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
by a year?
It's quite a specific thing. 22 days.
Well, they just arbitrarily. That was a random thing I chose. It's a short amount of time. It's not a delay.
I'm wondering when they do this, a lot of the time it's due to manufacturing time.
I don't think it is though, because they just released a closed beta, which
That's
I've
true.
gotten into. So there must be
You
some.
have to let us know what's like. What
Yeah.
your thoughts
Well,
are.
because me and Mark love Mirror's Edge.
Yeah,
the
there must
original
be
Mirror's Edge.
there must be some issues with it which they're trying to solve via the beta, because I didn't even know there was going to be a beta.
I didn't know there was at all.
So
Yeah.
there must
Because there's
be,
been nothing advertised I could see as in terms of pre-ordering to get access to a beta, which
No.
is usually what
Yeah.
you
well,
get.
it's a closed beta, so it's invitation only.
Yeah.
it's not an open beta or anything like that. And
gotta
I-
go.
I would say it like confirm any issues or whatever. And
yeah, and I have no
all
idea
sorts
why I got the. I mean,
Maybe you're the only one.
well, I've got a lot of games on
Do
Origin.
they listen to our podcast?
I've got a lot of games on Origin, so maybe it's just
maybe that's what it
because
is.
Do they listen to our podcast?
Claire plays a lot of The Sims on my Origin account. So,
She still plays Sims?
and not recently, but she does play them. She got Sims 4. Yes, so I got this invite for it for the Xbox as well, though. So I don't know. It seems to know me. I don't know why.
Oh.
It knows you. Origin knows you.
I'm trying to think what EA games I've played enough to warrant getting an invite.
Titanfall?
Battlefront.
No, that's Activision. So yeah, no.
Battlefront maybe, but
Yeah.
I didn't play it that much. If you guys didn't you probably played it more than me.
Battlefield.
Yeah.
You played old Battlefield games.
Yeah,
Stuff
I've
to fit down in.
played a lot of EA games, but
Yeah.
either way, I've got an invite to the closed beta, so
So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
happens.
Medal of Honor Rising Sun.
Great.
Yeah.
Then, as well as that, the main thing I want to discuss before we go into our main topic is all this talk that's coming out, and it's all over the place. It's the main thing that all the sort of the gaming news websites are talking about, which is the PlayStation 4.5, codenamed Neo, and what has been coming out is a lot of places have been talking about how they've got sources in the industry that have been telling them that developer packs have gone out, or like documents, and what is contained in the documents tells people that essentially this is a stopgap.
And
Yeah.
for our disclaimer, we will be not be naming any sources. Steve.
Don't tell them about Steve. But the Neo, what it seems to be, is a stopgap between what would be true 4K. Because they said it will not be from the sounds of it, it seems to upscale to 4K,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
not exactly going to be.
It's not 4K.
It's not 4K, pure 4K gaming.
Yeah.
And they've said that every game starting October will need to have what's called codenamed a Neo mode. So
You got base mode and a Neo mode.
Neo mode. So basically, you wouldn't need it. The same consoles will play the same games, but they've said that there's freedom within the developers to choose what features they really want to utilizing the extra power. But they've said the one thing that they need, the frame rate needs to be at its best on that version. They need they need to reach a certain, so basically, and it will look better. That's the two things it has to have. So basically, they're saying the game will run smoother and look better always on Neo mode. That is definitely what it will have.
Or safe enough to make the base mode look like shitey on purpose.
Yeah, but there's
Look
also
at our Neo mode.
this is grind
Damn
mode.
you, Sony.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other talk about it possibly, for example, with Battlefield, remember certain versions of the games, for example, 3 on PC and on PlayStation had different player counts. So
Oh,
what
right, yeah.
if you have the Neo and you're playing it on Neo mode, you have a higher player count and things like that. That drastically changes the
Do we know if
multiplayer
it's-
environment.
It's a completely new console in that
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah.
It's segregating everything.
It's a weird move.
Do
Yeah,
we know
it's
if
a
they're
weird
really
move.
focusing on all aspects, or would it just be graphics?
It's graphics and frame rate is what they're talking about. It's not going to be drastic gampaylay changes they said in the beginning, but
I don't think they'd be able to,
such a
because
short time
and so,
frame as
yeah,
well.
so it's so short after release. It's only into this console's window.
Yeah,
It's just to improve the graphics, and also,
Yeah.
And also-
they can't create a console that's way above like the Xbox One, for instance, and what
Yeah.
Nintendo bring out, because then
Yeah.
third parties won't be able to make anywhere near as much profit, because they'll have to make different games for the Xbox
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
and for the PlayStation.
But remember, the one of the things that brought people, a lot of developers got them interested in going to PlayStation again, was because they said that everything was so easy to develop for them again. Compared to PlayStation
Yeah, they're
3,
really upfront,
but-
yeah,
but
PlayStation 3 they had to struggle to do it, and now this is essentially making it harder to develop for again.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know that
Xbox One have worked to like sort of revamp their architecture.
they should be taking
essentially.
advantage of this as well. But they've said that, well, their statement's fine. They've said, oh, we've been actively developing things too. But it sounds like with them is it's just
A reaction.
They're they're reacting maybe not in the right way they should, but they've been saying, oh well, we're always working on stuff as well. But the issue is this 4.5. There's rumors about it being £399.
It's the same price.
Yeah,
as
and
when PlayStation 4.
Yeah,
exactly. And I know people that bought a PlayStation in the last month. Mark, for example, in the last couple of months, but. They've also people have said, oh, but they always release another model further along in the lifespan.
But this is too soon.
Yeah, but at the same time as well, this isn't a slim.
Guys calling it too
This
soon.
isn't a cheaper made, cheaper to manufacture,
Cheaper
slim
to
lined
sell.
box. It's essentially an upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear? There was an interview with Shuei Yoshida about does he see a PlayStation 5 in the future? And he's like, no.
No.
No,
Doesn't seem there being a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, he just sees the PS4 just being constantly upgraded.
Yeah.
Well, either that or it,
Like
it
PCs.
becomes like what those rumors were for what Apple were doing and what Steam were doing, and it just becomes streaming. They all become streaming machines in the way that you get an account and you have to have good internet, and then it's just a tiny little box that receives a game from a server and you play it.
Well, they tried that with PlayStation TV.
Yeah, well, it's worked. I mean,
Yeah, it does work, but
They're talking about
no one's grasped onto it.
yeah, no one's grasped onto it.
Yeah,
and
because
no-
they've
but-
just discontinued the PlayStation TV.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but that idea, because that's what Apple were playing with. That's what
Yeah.
Steam sort of have done with their Steam. Like they've got like
Yeah. They
Steam
cost
Link
£7
and
billion.
things. No, it's not the Steam box. That's just a computer.
Yeah.
But the Steam Link, which is just it's a mini little server, it connects to your computer.
Okay.
But it's the same idea. You're just playing your games over the internet, and it's the same with what PlayStation Remote have done. And if you think about it, I mean, the last generation of consoles was 10 years.
Yeah.
So got another 8 years left of this generation
Before.
going by the same.
Yeah.
So technology and the internet will be so advanced.
Oh
by
yeah,
then.
exactly. And
Also, we're not sure like where things going to go. You know, with like especially like when you look at TVs and visual technology, where the next push is.
Yeah.
And also, if folk really embrace it. 'Cause remember when folk were like pushing 3D TVs, now folk just went $2,000 for a TV. Nah.
Nah.
You
But
know,
think about like
and upscaling and stuff, so.
the profitability behind the company for that. I mean, if all you got to produce is a little streaming box which costs $50 or whatever, or £50,
you're producing a hub essentially.
and then you've got to pay this subscription to play these games.
Yeah.
And it's a
They're
horrible way of thinking about it for us
Yeah.
now. But,
Yeah, but-
it's really appealing for companies.
Yeah,
because you're paying
definitely.
for PS Plus, Xbox Live, anything as it.
But
is
everything's
just
going
now.
subscription. Like even like just like random stuff like Adobe, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
software.
just
is
went
going
400 quid for
subscription.
just pay for the thing.
Yeah, so it's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, 30 quid every
But
month. You're like, oh,
it's mental
get
because
off.
that's where you really think that when you look at the future of gaming, that's where it's really going. But right now, everything's kind of.
But we're not sure as well
camouflaged
because
beneath
also
it.
like there's always been like it's a weird culture. Like there's sort of like folk already buy online, but then there's also
Yeah.
like there's still a big thing for pre-owned games and that sort of thing,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
other
Well, it was
industries don't really
it was
have.
really interesting
me
the way
and Gary Norris
that
said,
Halo
like, solid
5
state.
the Halo
Yeah.
5 went, because they still released the collector's edition, like with the stats and everything. And
you wouldn't get steelbooks, Craig.
well, no, that's what I'm saying.
Steel subscriptions.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Would you?
with Halo, that's what
Are
I'm
they a
saying.
good substitute? No.
Great, go on, Mike.
Never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the VR thing's kind of camouflaged a lot of this right now because
Yeah.
that seems to be where everyone's focusing because it's bigger, shinier right now.
But that's a cooler idea, especially like what you were saying, like about like we were saying last week, like UB Workshop, but where everything's tailored to like the pimped out special editions and that sort of thing, more like merchandise.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
try and
yeah.
get the revenue in as well. Mm-hmm. Is that similar along to your Halo 5 point?
But what all I was saying with Halo 5 is they still released a collector's edition. You got the statue, you got the art book, you got the steel book. All you got is a download code.
Oh, right, yeah.
So like you just plumb that in, and then you've got the game as a download, but then you've got all the
extra
merch
stuff, yeah.
inside too, so
Yeah.
that could still work.
Yeah.
I know pre-owned games are a big deal, but you get pittance for pre-owned games anyway. So.
Yeah.
It's almost like a merchandise pack, really, isn't it? So yeah, no, that's an interesting idea.
Cool.
But we should move on.
Two other
Or
things.
back.
Two other things are after 10 years, Xbox 360 has now ceased production.
Oh yeah, no.
God rest its soul. It was a great console.
Yeah.
Absolutely
And something that I
fantastic.
just noticed that went up 2 hours ago. The ESL have banned Team U-Porn.
Yep. Team YP.
Team YP.
They have concept Team
Oh,
YP.
yeah.
And this is and Team YP have had 4 different versions of their jersey. But, like they had one that just had a censored thing across it. Have you seen the pixelated one?
Yeah.
They released a top where their logo was intentionally pixelated. But they've been banned, and a lot of other there's been loads of times where they've not been allowed to wear their jersey, even though it just says Team YP.
And it's got a sword in a mountain. I mean, there's no connection to, apart from the fact that it's like pink and sexy.
But it's kind of a shame, because I do think we are kind of getting to this point where, for example, we watch Street Fighter quite a lot, and it's quite interesting seeing how
we watch YouPorn quite a lot.
We're both subscribers to both things entirely, both camps.
But RedTube.
But the thing that's really interesting is that they are, this team representation thing that's part of esports is kind of coming in to a degree.
Yeah.
Fighting games has always been very independent. It's always very much about the single competitor, while esports has always been very much a team thing a lot of the time. But it is weird how like they're choosing colors for, like, all the Team YP guys choose pink skins for the characters and stuff like that.
Oh, that's a horrible nickname. Pink
skins. All 4 of them are using pink skins.
But I mean, like, YP have got teams for StarCraft, League of Legends.
Yeah.
Like they're big in esports, and just to be banned from everything is brutal.
Yeah.
Like,
ESL are the oldest. ESL are the oldest league as well.
It's a really strange attitude to take to it.
Yeah, because also, like, you know, well, gamers are usually, like, you know, pro liberty and all that, you know, a bit more free.
I think they're going to move in the direction of changing the name entirely. It's not going to be Team YP.
Yeah,
I think they're going to change it completely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
There's a team called Ninjas in Pajamas. I mean, they're going to...
Porn exists. Get used to it.
Team.
Well, no, it's not even to do with the name, though. It's the fact that it represents porn.
them.
And that's illegal. According to what ESL have... the statement ESL released were... Advertising pornography is not legal in the markets we operate in, and the vast majority of partners we're working with have strict no drugs, no alcohol, no pornography rules.
Yeah, especially competitive gaming and things.
It sounds like Spire stores are still game.
Performance enhancing, even though you think it wouldn't be a big thing in esports, is actually still quite a big thing.
Yeah,
so there's been a crackdown over the last few years over that sort of thing.
They need to do a complete rebrand of, like, YouPorn as, like,
Unicorn?
But like more like erotic photography experiences.
What Irv is doing is saying we're talking about what they did to Playboy, where
art.
Everyone's was it Playboy don't publish any erotic stuff now, and they're like, we have really good articles, because the running joke for years was that their articles were good and that no one believed them, and then it turned out they have really good editorial staff and their articles are actually good. But who buys magazines? Don't want to subscribe.
Yeah, this is the internet. Just go to YouPorn.
It's your home. It's my homepage
for all your editorial needs.
I need to change my homepage. Okay. Moving forward. We are going forward this time, right, Mark?
Moving swiftly forward. Always backwards.
Spinning.
Twirling.
When I close my eyes. CMG, not brought to you by YouPorn.
That should be... Can we change the thumbnail?
Right, done.
Make it pink. Pink sword. All right. So, let's move forward. Gary, introduce the topic.
Yes, so we're taking another trip down memory card lane. And this week we're going to be talking about the golden age of split screen multiplayer.
When was the golden age of split screen multiplayer? I want you to give me years.
What's your golden?
Oh, that's a great deflection. Yeah, Gary, he's becoming a pro.
I'm good.
It was just basically fuck you, Craig.
So we're doing this from our own perspectives.
From our own perspective. So everything from couch co-ops to our multiplayer experiences, online, offline. And also your first one as well.
Yeah, I think the best person to start this is Mark, because Mark grew up with everything.
Oh, this is great. Fuck you, Mark.
Yeah. Mostly because Mark was probably the first one out of us to really get into regularly playing what we call couch co-op, because we didn't jump on Halo properly. You had it on PC.
I had it on PC originally, yes.
Yeah, and you played single player.
Yeah,
but Mark, you actually... that's the reason you're still good at shooters at this point when we've all slowed down.
Yeah, we did have in our friends group was 2 Xboxes and 2 TVs, and we linked all that up, and it was great.
Pathetic.
Yeah, that's not split.
Hey, this is what I mean. This is why Mark's a good starting point for this. Because Mark did it relentlessly.
We'll start with Mark.
You say I'm a good starting point, but I was actually going to come in later, because for me, I don't think there was a golden age of split screen. I think it's always been there, and it's only recently started to die. the biggest thing for me was Halo 5, not including split screen.
That was a huge thing.
That's a huge thing. And there's reasons behind it, but we'll go into that in a minute. But
Marcus since destroyed his Halo 5 like special edition.
It's on a bucket outside.
I mean, it all started out, I suppose, with GoldenEye on the N64. That was when I was a kid, having all friends who had N64s. We'd all gather around with our own controllers and just play.
But that was the great thing about the N64 was the 4 ports.
4 ports, yeah. Fuck you, PlayStation.
Always standard.
We're getting to that one.
we'll get there.
We've got a multi-tap.
So I mean, there's always been great split screen games. Yet like starting out with GoldenEye, that was the first foray into it. And if there's ever been a Golden Age, I'd say that was it.
Yeah.
But moving forward, I mean, the biggest for me for couch gaming, as Craig's already said, would have been the first Halo.
Yeah.
Because when the Xbox came out, a couple of us got it just like, oh well, this looks interesting. It comes with Halo. It's Microsoft's flagship game. It's cool sci-fi game.
So Mark's little boner start going.
So
the table's rising. Everyone hold your tea on it.
So eventually, like a few of us all got it, and we all had controllers, and then again that also had 4 ports on it.
Yeah.
So like with the massive chunky original Xbox controllers, which are hilarious.
And the massive chunky original Xbox.
Which you had to have 2 people to have each controller. So you had
only
2
if you've
people
got
on one
tiny
side.
hands, Gary.
Yeah.
Only if you've got tiny hands.
Not like these.
But unfortunately, like these.
But yeah, so I mean, as Craig's already hinted to, that through the next Xbox onto the Xbox 360 with Halo 1, 2, and 3, like it included a crazy multiplayer suite. Online came with Halo 2, but with Halo you could have system link of up to 16 people. So 4 consoles, 4 TVs, plug them all together, 16 controllers, 16 people, and we, like Craig said, religiously did that every few weeks. Sometimes in my living room, which was hilarious. Yeah. Sometimes in Ramsey's garage, which was ace.
That must be so warm.
Well, the garage is great. Just open the door. But yeah, we had.
Look
it was
at the nerds.
Yeah, basically. But it was
people walking by with their dogs.
You go past.
Don't look directly at them.
What's that? We call it lost youth.
No, the best youth.
The best youth.
But yeah, I mean, it was essentially our form of LAN party, really, just playing these games, all these different game modes, and that proceeded all the way through Halo 4, which still included that.
Well, I was going to say Halo very much deserves a lot of credit for
Nothing.
because me and Mark have specifically spoken about this multiple times, that Halo was the one that for the longest time, like you said, until 5, maybe 4 possibly, but I remember for the longest time it gave you every multiplayer option it could give you. You could have 4 players on one console against 4 players on another console.
Against 4 players online.
Yeah, it allowed you the largest volume on consoles to play each other with the least amount of hardware. Especially when you look at things now, like for example, if you have to play online and your system doesn't allow split screen.
Yeah.
Especially if it's coming from something that was on PC that's coming across, it just won't allow it. It just doesn't make sense. Or for example, things that are being played competitively now, like Pokken. Pokken requires 2 TVs and 2 setups and a LAN cable to play competitively.
Yeah.
So for example, like Evo, where you could play Street Fighter and have that as one console with 2 players on it.
Bringing their controllers.
Yeah, they have to work out. They have to take double the amount of equipment to provide for the same amount of players that would go into that tournament. So we're kind of going back a step now. But Halo allowed everything.
I love that though. If like their whole marketing campaign is just trolling everyone. It's like, we've taken the multiplayer experience and we streamlined it.
I would love if it was for one person to play competitively, you need 2 consoles. That's how we go back.
But just how it keeps on
going. But they sell it as a feature.
Yeah, no, Halo 4 did have all that, but then it was all dropped from Halo 5. Reason being,
for shame,
like frame rate and things, because they're running at 60 frames per second. It doesn't transfer to 2 screens or 4 screens in the same way, and their reasoning was they didn't want to release a subpar experience because either the frame rate would drop to 30 or some other reason, but that was the bureaucracy behind it. But it was just technical difficulties apparently.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily dead. But
you've got Destiny.
I've got Destiny. That's 30 frames.
Yeah.
But Gears of War 4 has announced that it is having split screen.
Oh, that's good. 4-player or
Pass.
2?
I assume 4-player because Gears of War's always had 4-player.
See, Call of Duty always had a really weird thing, which was you could have 4-player local, but if you want to go across 2 consoles, like, and connect them,
then you
had to have 2 and 2. And so it was 2 person per console when you started multiplying the consoles that you could connect together, which was a really weird one.
Yeah.
But that was just
playing, like, was it Advanced Warfare was quite fun with, like, your mech suits and stuff. It's
exactly,
like, this is so... Nostalgia.
Nostalgia. That's like a few years ago.
I know, but just like what it invoked.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Single players, and it's like, we're just jumping, shooting, and being shite.
That's it. You can still have fun with those things.
Yeah.
It's great.
And I'll always have fond memories of playing Halo 2, which still the best in the series for me. But just playing Halo 2 like that. And the other thing was the Master Chief Collection. When they remade all that, they still included split screen in that.
Yeah.
But
that had a lot of technical issues again.
That was all online.
That was all
not the game issues,
stuff, but not the actual game.
It was the servers. They didn't have dedicated servers, and things went wrong.
Cool. But no, that's an. I thought Halo would be a good point because Halo really, across modern split screen, it was it was the last big sort of local one that was religiously played by people, and then also ushered in the online shooting experience.
Yeah, Halo 2 is one of the
before Call of Duty and things
the forerunners
like that,
for online shooting. And like you said, the way you could play it, I mean, you could get 4 friends or 3 friends over rather. You could sign into your live account, have 3 guests, and then you could go online and just play anyone. You could jump into multi-team, big team, anything, all from the one account, which is on one Xbox.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a big fan of split screen, and it's a sad day that Halo 5 doesn't have it.
I think the last game, honestly, that we played split screen as a group and like had a laugh with was years ago when we played the remake of Goldeneye on Xbox.
Yeah. Well, we did play Halo 4 last year.
Halo 4, played Halo 4, but it's just nothing we really play that often now. It's mental.
The saddest thing for me is that even up until Halo 4, so like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, me and all my friends would still get together at points, bring our 360s together and just play
a multiplayer
session. And it was a reason to get together. I mean, it sounds bad that you need reasons to get together like that. Well, you laugh, but
I mean, it's like
it was a catalyst to get 8 friends together.
Yeah, exactly.
And now we don't have that.
And it's just sad that they're kind of moving away from that. And you do feel that maybe it's just thinking negatively, but in their heads, marketing wise, they do think for every copy that we could allow 4 players to play, maybe that's 3 less copies being sold.
Oh, completely.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a very negative way to spin it, but it could just be that simple. Like more people will buy if they need all the stuff themselves to play it.
Like, because obviously Bungie were the forerunners of Halo and getting this off the ground. It's understandable it's not in Destiny because it's a RPG single character experience, and there's no custom matchmaking to begin with, which is another issue entirely. But like, I can understand why that's not involved. But like 343, like when they took over with Halo 4, they took the spirit of that and made it. So it's just, I don't know if it's Microsoft that would have done it.
Destiny, it could be a blessing in disguise that they didn't have the matchmaking and things up until this point because they've had so long to look at how things can be balanced. Because essentially your super system that you have, or your sort of abilities that you build, they're one-hit killing moves.
Yeah,
and that generally for competition creates a balance issue. So this at least gives them time to figure out how they can address that balance issue by seeing how people play normally. And because that's the thing as well, you think about the balance changes you get in Destiny as it is. Imagine if you added an entire competitive environment to that where it was, watched as an esport.
I don't know if the
sort of
supers would affect it in that way because you have your own equipment. I mean, so if you're looking at Halo competitively, if you get the incinerator cannon, you get the rocket launcher, that's a one-hit kill. So it's no different to...
No, but I mean just in terms of like how things would be balanced and the thing to do with how regularly, for example, certain people's abilities will be seen as more powerful than others, but if it's under a competitive lens, it's under much more criticism. Because remember when it first came out, the shield golden gun could shoot through, and
it could big 2 shots of the golden gun could break the water door.
And basically the shield... they didn't have that system they have now where certain abilities can cancel out other ones. But if that was, for example, when these things are coming out, they have a launch tournament a lot of the time, and then that was there. You're seeing things under
the Titans would be useless,
especially since the internet now, as much of a sea of positivity as it is, would not work too well.
But the other thing with Destiny, I mean, it's a loot focused thing, so if you're making competitive multiplayer, you couldn't really have loot dropping from that, so it would...
They still just need to remove that from matchmaking. No level building or anything like that if you're doing private matchmaking.
Yeah, if you're doing private matchmaking, but it's just something they've not introduced, and I don't know why.
But yeah.
Anyway, we should move back to other people's thoughts and where the golden age of gaming split screen came from. Gary?
Yeah. Well, what
are your fondest memories?
Well, my fondest memories, going back to when I first discovered split screen, was going to one of my friends, and he had his SNES, and he had Mario Kart, and playing split screen on that. So doing the GP, doing the battle mode in it as well with the 2-player. I think that was my sort of first experience with that. And then kind of continuing on from there was the kind of co-op element of Sonic 2 as well. Well, you had the battle mode in that, so you had to finish the level as fast as you could.
Yeah.
So that was something me and my sister played quite a lot as well when we were younger. And then after all that, going into like Goldeneye, and then going into Mario Kart 64, Perfect Dark as well.
Perfect Dark is amazing.
Yeah, Perfect Dark is such a good game.
Well, one thing that a lot of people may not know is that although there has never been re-release like on the PS Store, well, Xbox Store, PS Store, anything like that, of Goldeneye, the Perfect Dark version on Xbox 360 has almost at least a vast majority of
the Goldeneye maps,
and the Goldeneye assets. They're all named different things, but you can actually play a lot of what you could play of Goldeneye back then.
Sorry, man, I've got my N64 in the other room.
Other than Mark, who has everything.
Mark's away.
If you go into Mark's room, it's like he's got the spare room, and it's like a vault door, and you open it, and it's kind of like Scrooge McDuck's vault, but it's loaded with electronics.
And if you jump on it,
painful to jump in. Equally painful to jump into,
but
it's solid matter.
But going back to GoldenEye, like that was obviously my first proper experience of like a first-person shooter in a multiplayer kind of
shooty run,
shooty run, very,
jump,
very fast.
jump. Oh wait, no.
The craziest thing is that the multiplayer was an afterthought for GoldenEye. It was added in the last 2 weeks before the game was shipped. And
the game was not shit, Gary. It was amazing.
Shipped.
Bad jokes.
Bad jokes. But and
take your nautical puns and fuck off.
So tired.
But it was just to think that like that was pretty much the staple of
we'll chuck it in.
Yeah, we'll just chuck it in as kind of an afterthought thing. And it ended up being the best part of that game.
They
just took all the campaign maps and like chopped off bits. And
chopped off bits.
That's why the maps that were not from the actual game were retardedly stupid. They were just like completely bare arenas with white walls and ramps instead of stairs, no textures.
That stuff you could hack to get that, like some of the unfinished kind of levels.
But I mean, they sold it as futuristic stuff, but it's not. It's just lazy development.
But then the amount of modes that you got on it as well, like you only live twice. Golden gun mode, slaps only.
Oh no, the mod like paint and big head mode and all that. Oh god.
It was just something that four of you could sit down, and honestly, like it could have ruined so many friendships, and it probably did ruin so many friendships. But you always have that. Like I always remember my absolute best like moment in GoldenEye, and that's the one where I could just drop the controller and just say I'm retiring. And it was
that's a Craig move.
Yeah, that's a very you move. But it was playing facility, golden gun's in the bathroom upstairs. My mate was guarding it. So I only had a shotgun, I just went, fuck it, I'm going in. Went in, and like he tried to shoot me, missed me once. I shot him with the shotgun and picked up the golden gun. I was like, yep, I'm done.
I win.
It was so good.
One of the things I always remember about Goldeneye, it's semi-unrelated to Splitscreen, just because we're talking about it, is they renamed all the guns because they legally couldn't call the guns what they were.
This is the club.
The Scorpion was a club. The AK-47 is a Soviet. The PP7's the PK9 or something, and MP5 is a Deutsch.
Deutsch.
Remember all that? So good.
It was very, very good.
I love though, because like a lot of those fundamentals though carried on to Nightfire.
Nightfire's
Agent Under Fire is better.
Do you know what?
Zero gravity.
I'm going to be talking about this one a lot when it comes to mine.
But then obviously moving on from that, after GoldenEye and Mario Kart and all that, and then the other one I can kind of remember that really stuck in my head was Timesplitters 2.
Oh, of course. How can I forget Timesplitters?
Making your own levels as well.
Making your own levels, Free Radical. Basically it was GoldenEye, but for the PS2.
GameCube, mate.
Well, I had
4 ports.
Multi-tap.
Peripheral.
I would say this could be a good point for me to throw in.
I'm pretty. I'm almost done.
Almost.
Well,
done.
you know you're pretty, Gary.
I'm pretty.
So pretty.
Pretty as I
Pretty women. Pretty women.
as I twiddle my hair. So Timesplitters 2 was another really good example, and then moving on to the next generation, when I was old enough to actually buy my own consoles, and I felt like such a man by doing it.
Money, is
I was making some money.
I'm a big boy.
Yeah, so I bought my
My
Xbox.
name's Gary. I'm making some hot dollar.
So playing Halo 3, that was great.
Yes.
Halo 3 and Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead was another really, really good one as well. And there's just so many great memories. But it's something that like you kind of miss. Having either someone by your side or like just a room of you together just playing a game.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like just very quickly recently, it's not split screen, but recently been playing a lot of Street Fighter. And like we all get together and we just sort of swap over.
But that's great fun.
Just having 4 or 5 people in a room playing a game. It's just it's so much better than online.
And you'll get wrecked, mate.
But I do like how they try to bring back some of that thing. Like like people are developing games for being couch co-op. Like the
Helldivers.
The Lara Croft spin-off series, like Temple of Osiris and all that. That's great fun.
Top one,
it's really good fun.
There's one that we very much miss out on that's been a consistent
staple
couch co-op
for us
game. That none of us play, which is FIFA.
Dead or alive.
FIFA's been like FIFA sells huge amounts of copies. FIFA
sells consoles.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
the FIFA people have a FIFA box. Like there's guys I work with, and they say it's like they go around to before they go out on a Friday night, they go to their friends
drink beers and play FIFA.
So it's mental. That is like that's where
it's amazing because I
change.
Because FIFA's shite, mate.
We're not gamers. Gamers are weirdos. FIFA!
Oh, I know.
We don't like that's.
Mate, it's a simulator.
But that's the thing. We don't play sports games, but FIFA is very much. It's never changed, and
they still keep releasing it.
Well, mate, you can't pick Valencia, mate. That's my team.
But a guy I work with who loves FIFA, he described it perfectly. He said they could get the mechanics perfectly, but then they'll take them away the next year so that they can add them again the following year. He said every year they shouldn't change the way that you have to take free kicks, but every year they will change the way that you do free kicks because that's the way it works.
And also it's when you get guys who just argue with like the actual game itself when they're like, oh ref, mate, that was my ball, it's my throwing. It's like, calm down, Steve.
Damn you, Steve.
But it's also like, so there's a big drive like also in like Brazil as well, because I remember like the up-to-date like PS3s were like so expensive. Like over there it was like ridiculous monies, but they always had like PS2s, and then that was why FIFA
always had a version before.
PS2.
Same, you still get on Vita and PSP and everything. You have that, but
PSP.
But that's the thing. Like FIFA's always been. It's
always been
never
there.
changed. It's always been there, and that is still quite. I still think that's quite nice, even though it's not our sort of game. That's and plus I do find FIFA fun, even though I can't understand the perspective at all.
Yeah.
I will try and tackle another player and I'll miss them.
I did saying that I did play quite a lot of Pro Evo, whichever one it was, on the N64.
Yeah,
like that was
Pro Ev.
Virtua Soccer 2, mate.
And they still make those two. They still make Pro Ev as well. It's just it doesn't have the licenses to stuff, and it's not as good as it was.
Anyway, enough talk about football. No one cares about that. Greg, your golden age of
well, I was going to say Gary touched on it already, but unfortunately I didn't play Mario Kart growing up or anything. I didn't know anyone that had a Nintendo console.
You didn't know me.
I didn't. And remember, I didn't get a PlayStation until that PlayStation was my first proper console. I did have the Sega Master System 2, but the issue was
it's a real console, Craig.
But I got that when they weren't making games for it anymore, so I couldn't even buy up to date things. Me too. But then when
that's like 5 years or 7 years behind.
But that's the thing. The multi-tap point was probably my point of where I first came into gaming in terms of like couch co-op and things like that, or couch multiplayer. And I think it was the sort of games I remember were across PS2, PS1, things like that. Crash Team Racing.
Yo, what game?
That was my Mario Kart, even though it was a blatant rip-off.
It was a blatant rip-off, but it was so good. It was so good because like
it had the same modes and everything.
considering Naughty Dog had just been developing like just the Crash Bandicoot, so it was a 3D platformer, to go to a racer that played as well as Mario Kart.
It's so weird. I sit on the other side of the fence from all of you. Like, you all had Sega, you all had Sony, and I was Nintendo and Xbox.
We're real gamers, Mark.
Ellen, everyone had Sega. Like everyone growing up had Sega.
So everything you're talking about, if it didn't cross over to another console, I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, that's the thing. I like how you say that on the other side of the fence, we're still the same with Xbox and PlayStation until recently.
But a lot of more games cross over.
I still sit on the other side of the fence. I still prefer the Xbox. PlayStation's great, don't get me wrong.
But it's your native console.
Yeah, I was trying to do that like Street Fighter thing. What do we do?
When Irv borrowed Craig's PS4, we're trying to play Street Fighter Online, trying to work out how to invite each other, how to set up a game. It was like, on Xbox you just do this. Yeah, that doesn't work. Irv, what do you think? Let's play this. What's my name again?
These guys like the
I never thought that'd be
Eventually I had to create a battle lounge and get Irv to search machine. For my name.
But
start hitting.
But the Crash Team Racing was one of the ones that me and a group of friends played quite a lot of. The multi-tap actually went across PS2 and PS1.
Yeah,
you got them, but you got them across both. And I think that point,
it occasionally did smart things.
when on PS2, when it came to the multi-tap, I remember we actually played. I had a friend who was our Mark, and he got each console, but then he'd sell one and get the next one, and he literally had every console of a generation, but he'd just go through them. And he got an Xbox, he got Halo 2, and we played it, and we just couldn't get into it at all. We don't know why, we just couldn't get into it at the time.
Because you're dead inside.
That must be it.
You have no soul.
But what he did get at one point was he got a multi-tap and a PlayStation 2, and we played Def Jam Fight for New York.
Oh my god.
What a game.
What a game. It was so good. But then there was loads of other things. We played Agent Under Fire, we played Nightfire.
Yes.
They had tons of modes, were ridiculously fun, although going back and playing them's horrible because we're so used to having the universal shooter controls now.
Yeah.
When you go back to those, it just feels slow and weird.
It feels weird not aiming
shooting
down
with
the sight.
X.
Yeah, shooting with X and not aiming down the sight and
shooting with X.
Yeah.
Shooting with X.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Nightfire wasn't shooting with X.
No,
I remember like Rebel Strike.
You can map the controls in that one.
That kind of been the default. I mean,
original default.
For a while, yeah.
For a while was X. And
who would have thought that was a good idea?
I think aiming was either
because that
R1
was
or L1.
that was the big revelation when it's like we're now switching to R1 like a real trick.
Oh, did it have lock on?
What?
Yeah, it
had lock on. Yeah, but
that makes sense.
But this is the thing that is really weird. I remember there are 2 points in games where things that I now consider completely normal were really foreign and weird to me, and that was
second stick.
Yeah, well, the second stick when that came in, then. The other one was using the analog stick over the D-pad with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. that was so weird. Thinking I'm gonna have to control with this thing. It was so natural. Now.
That was the same for me. That was completely different because the N64 had an analog stick. I was used to like D-pads were weird for me. Always use D-pads for fighting.
And
games,
always when like the analog button, it was optional.
You could switch. You could switch it on and off on the PlayStation 1 but
the first same with vibration.
The first thing the weird like going back to like now we've got this universal style of controls for shooters and stuff like that. I remember when was it last year or the year before? I can't remember. But I introduced Lord to Left 4 Dead. And so I was trying to explain to her that it's like, okay, so your left stick goes forward, back, and you straight.
Left stick controls your straight,
right stick's your look.
Yeah.
But she grew up on PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, and she did a lot of like platformers and stuff like that. So basically, your left stick controlled everything.
Nothing pisses me off
pretty much
than when you see someone giving someone who didn't grow up with games a controller and they start shouting abuse at them because they can't do basic things, because people forget that we have this ingrained in our muscle memory. It's just natural to us. We don't think about even how we control stuff now.
It's true, but at the end, we got to the end of like the section for Left 4 Dead. She did quite well, but then at the end where all the zombies are storming the roof and stuff like that, she was getting pinned down, and I just went up on the helicopter. I was like, bye.
Metaphors, dick. I love it. Never changed.
She was holding me back.
But not anymore. That was kind of the sort of point where I stopped playing couch co-op, because at that point, those sort of experiences faded out for a while. Also, 13. That's an honorable mention. 13 was a great one. You could cook a grenade. No, but that's what I'm getting to, because I never had a Nintendo console ever until the Wii. And the Wii is now my couch co-op console, because I used to go to charity shops all the time. Well, I still do this. I'll go to a charity shop and I'll look for GameCube games. And I now did not realize how many GameCube games I have accumulated. I have such a massive
such a good. It was the best of that generation.
But I now have
underrated as hell.
I now have Def Jam Fight for New York. I have Freedom Fighters. I have all the Bond games, like Agent Under Fire, Nightfire, From Russia with Love,
Smosh.
Yeah, I have Smash. I have
Smosh Bros.
I have Monkey Ball.
Oh, Super Monkey Ball's amazing.
And
such a party
Mario Kart. I have all these things on GameCube
that you can play
that I can now play on the Wii, and I've got.
I remember was Red Steel. Oh no, that was Wii, wasn't it?
That was Wii as well. Red Steel 2
controls. Awkward controls.
Yeah.
But I had all these. I now have all of those games that I still have that I can play because the Wii will still play them. And although the later released Wiis, which a lot of people don't know, and I actually bought one for £25. How you could flip up the top and it would have the ports? It would have a metal casing on the inside so that you couldn't use them. They took away...
Are you kidding me?
They took away the ability to use the ports so that people would use the eShop. So
holy hell, that's a really dick move.
All those colored consoles you get later on.
Did they still have the ports in there, but they just covered them?
You could open it and they would not be installed underneath it, and it would have a metal casing over it. So you'd still have those openings, but they were just metal over them.
Wow.
And all the later Wii consoles had that. They were called the Wii Family Editions. And they didn't have them.
Ironically.
So if you ever see a Wii that is not white or black, and it's those turquoise ones,
then racist.
Or the pink ones, those ones will not allow
that's really
you to
weird.
do that.
I did not know that.
And,
there's some consumer advice for
I threw it in the bin.
I
did not. I just threw it in the bin.
Cool.
But yeah, that's now where I kind of go back and play those games. I'll still, if people want to play them, have a laugh and break that out and play some Def Jam Fight for New York, play some Slick Rick.
So good.
I don't remember what you brought out.
Talking about like couch gaming as opposed to split screen, because Def Jam, for instance, it's not really a split screen game, but
like Zone of Enders.
Very little anecdotal story which I think is hilarious. Like me and Duncan first became friends. And you know what Duncan's like. A huge guy, had a beard when he was 12.
Born with it.
And he was friends with like other friends of mine. I wasn't particularly friends with him at that point. And we were all like just out messing around in the fields by my house. We all decided to split up. Duncan was like, "Oh, no, I'm not going to go home yet." And I was like, "Okay." I was a innocent child, but like this giant bearded guy was like, "Oh, I'll come to yours." I was like, okay. And we just sat down, and for whatever reason, we started playing Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer.
I had that.
And we bonded over Kelly Slater's. And
I remember you used to have a copy of Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer on your shelf, and I used to be like, why do you have this?
I don't know why I had it, but it was such a fun game.
It was weird because you did get a lot of that like weird endorsed thing.
No, it was when Tony Hawk Pro Skater came out. You also got Dave
Muir.
Well, no, Matt Hoffman was the one they did,
and the BMX one as well.
Slater.
It was Matt Hoffman's BMX.
What was that?
Was it Matt Hoffman's BMX?
Matt Hoffman was the one they did. There was also
and then
Dave
I
Muir,
had
separate.
Alan Shearer's Actra Soccer too. lads.
Yeah, and so it was like that whole sort of period was a really sort of weird one where you had to buy the multi-tap, you had to do all these extra things, and then unless you had a GameCube, which like
the
you said, 4
Xbox.
ports, yeah. But
everything but the PlayStation.
Everything but PlayStation, pretty much.
I'll give my quick closing words before I leave, but please continue on, guys, because this is great. Sorry, I have work to go to. Boo. But I really miss.
I was going to say there's also one that you both would have played, which is Battlefront.
Oh
yeah, Battlefront
very
2.
good, very good.
Like
Battlefront 1 and 2.
1 and 2 had split screen, and
3 doesn't.
Galactic Conquest.
well, it does, but not in the same way. I mean, it's just offline missions, so it's still got some split screen, which is a nice touch, but it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same, but completely and utterly miss it, and I actually think we should definitely have a Galactic Conquest sesh at some point,
Or Halo sesh,
or Halo sesh, or something like that. Just for
or a Def Jam Fight for New York session.
we may film it. We may put it up. We'll see what happens. Cool.
Then we'll
But enjoy, guys, and thank you very much for listening to my subtle tones.
my subtle tones.
Excuse me while I leave. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, gang. I'll keep that in.
So, Irv, what about yourself?
Now
Have you
we've
played
dropped the
anything?
dead weight.
Well,
Now finally we can reach.
I was trying to find like all the earlier ones. Again, one that's just like it's not even split screen, but like the best multiplayer experience, which I think everyone will agree was Micro Machines Turbo Tournament 2.
I was gonna say
No.
V3. I
Oh,
played
you just like
V3.
Halo, mate.
Halo, mate.
I played V3.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like, was it when I used to do it, it's always like, it's like me and another singular friend, so we play like loads of split screen things rather than when you just play like Halo for days. I was trying to remember Star Wars Demolition. Did you guys ever play that?
No, but I've seen it.
Demolition.
Yeah, it was sort of
Yeah.
like the
Destruction Derby.
Combat one, Destruction Derby with like all the
Star Wars vehicles.
It came out
No, I
just
never played
when episode 1 did. You got to play in the Naboo and stuff as Boba Fett, not Jango Fett, and snowspeeders and rancors and stuff. It was good fun. There was also like weird ones, like there was always like the weird PS1 games that you got, and there was like World Destruction League Thunder Tanks, which is the most bro-ish game in the world.
Irv played weird games.
Irv, I was gonna say, so you said there it came at the same time as episode 1.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you were pissed off that you're pissed off that it wasn't Django when you didn't know that Django existed yet.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed about something, but I don't know what it is
can't
yet.
put my finger on it.
It's retrospective rage.
I can't believe I enjoyed Boba. I feel dirty.
Did any of you guys play the Green Army Men games?
Yeah.
No, but one of my friends did.
Oh, holy crap.
There was like Land, Sea and Air and
Yeah.
Lock and Load.
Yeah, I played those. They were good.
Yeah.
Well, I had one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. I've seen a friend play them, and that was.
And those were always amazing because you'd play like the most grimmest of things, like you'd play like the Somme or like in the trenches and stuff, but you're just like green plastic men, and you just get blown to crap.
Yeah.
It was quite an amazing thing for like
kids.
Yeah, for kids, and you could do the most sort of horrific things just to get blown to smithereens, but it's okay. They're only plastic.
No one really cares, mate.
I'm trying to think, but I think my favourite overall thing would be like Nightfire, and it was always the Alpine.
Yeah, the mansion, had the big sort of pit almost in the middle.
Yeah.
That was the best one.
Yeah, because it was that. Because you got and there's all the things you could add on, like you got gun attachments.
Wait a minute. It had snow. Of course, it's your
It
favorite.
had snow, of course, it's my favourite. The grapple hooks.
The grapple hooks and the 0G and did you have jetpack as well, or
no, just grapples.
Or you had like, did you have like some sort of special jump or something? I can't remember. Or was that just because of the low gravity? Like I seem to remember having a sort of a jump pack, so you could jump further at one point. Or that might have just been the low gravity and just my mind's misremembering.
I don't think there was low gravity for Nightfire.
No. Are you talking about?
I'm Agent Under Fire.
It's Agent Under Fire. Agent Under Fire had a thing where you could give yourself a jetpack or a grapple hook, but what they allowed you to do, which you couldn't do in Nightfire, was the grapple hook would hook onto anything in the level. And you could actually go on top of the level and there would be the black outlines and everything. It was a terrible design flaw, but it was so fun. Because you could, and it would recharge so quickly that you could just swing from place to place and like jump all over. And
sorry, Irv, I need to take a step back and recount my thing saying agreeing with you about Nightfire. Nightfire was good, but it's no Agent Under Fire
because of that one stupid feature.
That's all we ever did.
Nightfire though had some really interesting.
But did you guys play that map though? I think that was the most popular one.
We did play
in the cable car and stuff.
We did play a lot of Nightfire because it was more competitive and less stupid.
And you had assassination modes, tons of game modes. The cable that was the most common.
Yeah, I forgot you had you had to like escort one guy.
Yeah, although Irv would of course love that level, the one with the cable car, because that was a snow level. The one with the castle and the lodge.
Beat you to it.
I already said that, Craig. If you weren't paying attention and not on your phone.
But the castle and the lodge with the cable cars was great. You wouldn't get in those cable cars, that was stupid. You just get shot.
And then also, did you have trip mines in Agent Under Fire?
I'd like to say yes, but I just remember flying around shooting things.
Agent Under Fire was a lot more basic, but it was just ridiculous because the grapple hook. Swing!
And also there was other like nice touches, like when you're Odd Job, you got Odd Job's hat and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like a one-hit kill when you threw it and stuff. And Slaps Only, that was the weirdest game mode ever.
That's
always when you died and it was always just a...
That's spiritual from Goldeneye.
Yeah. But then Nightfire also gave you, each character had a unique thing where, for example, Odd Job had the hat. Jaws had a melee one-hit kill. Scaramanga had the golden gun. And what's his name? The character that can't feel pain.
Renard.
Yeah, he like had ridiculous amounts of like tolerance and stuff. It was mental. But yeah, those games were fun.
Yeah, I was trying to remember
after The World Is Not Enough. Wow.
Yeah, when we had like The World Is Not Enough official game of the movie.
Yeah.
I think it was 2002.
Oh God, it must be good because World Is Not Enough was PS1.
Yeah,
exactly.
Wow, that my
Never Dies. World Is Not Enough.
It was how Nightfire was marketed as like using real life Pierce Brosnan.
Using Pierce Brosnan, yeah,
but not his voice.
I know.
But then they had everything or nothing. Everything actual better than
game.
Yeah, it was actually better than most of the Pierce Brosnan films.
Yeah, exactly.
I was talking about. So, what sort of like odd multiplayer games did you have when you play split screen? Like, remember like Tony Hawk's?
Tony Hawk was one. I played quite a bit of Tony Hawk. It was a split screen one, but I played ridiculous amounts of Dragon Ball Z Budocai games growing up.
On the theme of retirement.
On tons. I retired from it because I was the greatest player to ever play the game.
After losing to me.
Mark makes this up frequently because he knows it bugs me. Because I've only ever lost to one person, and it's my old friend Paul, who I've not seen in a long time.
It's not made up if it's true.
I'll crush him.
And also, that was the best part about Tony Hawk's 3, is that for the character model, and I kept on playing religiously at my friend's house on GameCube, Jango Fett.
Oh yeah, you got Jango. I forgot. Exactly. And they used to have Spider-Man and all that sort of thing. Yeah. It was so good. But no, it's a shame. I really want to play some of these things now.
I know. And you got like some really weird games. Like, do you remember like WWF Crush Hour?
Yes,
where you got like Steve Austin and all that, and they had like these trucks like 50 cars, and you just like blew each other up.
Wrestling games, another one that was always really fun. I used to have sessions every month.
And like SmackDown versus Raw.
Yeah.
SmackDown 2, so good.
I used to have sessions every month when we watched pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Where we would play wrestling games.
It's kind of becoming more of a couch gaming than a split screen game.
Yeah.
But they all fall under the same nostalgic.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about wrestling, but for some reason I always was like Grandmaster Sexy and Scotty Too Hot.
That's who Neil loved. Is it one of them came to Aberdeen last year?
Yeah.
It was Scotty Too Hot.
Yeah, the pink hair and Here's a interesting question relating to split screen. Mm-hmm. Which camp did you guys fall into? Vertical or horizontal?
Ooh, it depended on the game.
But mostly more horizontal. Depending on what you're playing, horizontal mainly for shooters, and then vertical for driving.
I think you need horizontal.
Vertical for driving. I was always horizontal.
Oh no, it's for some of them, like Midnight Club, it was always horizontal. Midnight Club 3, that was amazing. Tag.
I think I think when it comes to shooting games, horizontal is the way you have to go, because just the range of
the default for Borderlands was vertical.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it was well hidden. It wasn't in the graphics or gameplay settings. It was somewhere else to change it to horizontal. And I remember first time playing it. Might have been Borderlands 1 actually, but I remember first time playing it. I was like, this is weird. I don't like it. Yeah. Make it go away.
There's games that never did like the split screen particularly well. Gary disagreed with me, I think, at the time, but I hated playing Resident Evil, was it 5 and 6, or the ones where you could do the 2-player. I hate the way those play in split screen. I feel like you can't see enough. Like it just feels like everything's covered or hidden, and you're just not given enough of a range of view in it. And I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's the fact that it is third person and that makes it quite weird, but I've played other third person games and not had this issue, but I just feel like this space they give you, it feels like the camera's in such a bad such a bad place, and it's so close behind you that it just destroys your viewpoint. It doesn't do it well.
I can't remember what game it was, but it was some sort of top-down game, but it had diagonal split screen. It went from corner to corner. It was so weird.
Especially like how it would change on like different TVs and stuff.
Yeah. But it was such a big deal, like for when we were playing Halo, for instance, because if you had, maybe 6 people playing, and you had a slightly smaller TV, you'd have 4 people on the big TV and 2 people on the little TV. But the less it was split, the better the game ran, the more you could see. So it was always fighting over the smaller screen, which just made no sense. But like, no, I want to be on the smaller screen. Why? Because it's only 2 people on that one. Yeah. It's much better to play.
And then there's always like, you'd have to try and say for like, don't look at my screen and all that.
Screen watching, oh my god.
I hate screen watching with a passion. Absolutely cannot stand it.
Interesting little footnote.
Hate screen watching.
Interesting little footnote on that. The instructions for Mario Kart, when talking about battle, like Mario Kart Battle, when you had the 3 balloons, like the instructions encourage screen watching.
Okay.
There is a game that came out, and I'm trying to look it up now, that was based on the idea
of screen watching.
Screen watching, where basically you had the 4 frames and you can only work out where the other person was by screen watching.
It was like you were all invisible.
Yeah,
but it's
like a color thing.
I'm maybe thinking of a different game, but there's a shooter where everyone's invisible, and the only way it was a small indie game, but the only way to work out where to fire was looking at other people's screens to work out what position they were in on the map.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it was called though, but that was a game that was. It's only been the last few years that came out, but it was a great idea. They actually you had to abuse screen watching. It was the mechanic to the game.
Yeah,
and it was just really interesting.
And I think was it maybe like the final sort of one, which one I just loved religiously, was like Red Faction 2.
Red Faction 2 mining simulator.
Yeah, mate. But just when it ties in, crazy arena combat, but just with, you can destroy everything.
Oh my god.
Quake, yeah.
Oh, I've got great. When I was at school, we were our registration was the drama department, and our drama teacher had a PlayStation, like with a multi-tap.
Holy balls!
So every morning, like at registration, we'd have little Quake 3 arena tournaments.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah,
like the arena multiplayers are like one of the best. I mean, straying into talking about Unreal Tournament on PC and things, which I know is taboo for this podcast. But I loved arena shooters. I mean, playing Doom 2 and things like that when I was younger. I mean, Quake was always the multiplayer one, but Quake 3 Arena was unreal.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I wonder if Doom's going to have split screen. I don't know if I haven't.
If it's not been talked about, you think that would be a feature they would talk about?
Or if it would be a subtle one.
Could be.
I don't know. I don't know how
He's looking it up right now.
The offline suite would work, because I think that is also the problem. Like, moving away from arena shooters is loadouts. That's what destroys a lot of this.
Yeah.
But I'm
going to take half an hour to pick a pistol.
Well, this is the thing. I'm really kind of torn when it comes to that sort of idea, because I love customization. I love putting yourself into a game. I always. Yeah,
I remember you saying you always hate stock stuff.
I hate stock stuff. I hate if they made an MMO where I just got a basic. I didn't get a choice. I wouldn't care. Yeah. I like making the small bearded guy that's like me. But I don't know. I like putting your own personality into something.
Yeah.
And so I quite like the loadout idea because it's another tactical advantage that you can think of before the game. I love that.
Instead, it was just like red or blue.
I like that pre-programmed kind of strategy you can have, even though it's not taken away from when everything is in the map, because you still have to strategize how you're going to achieve those things and get them. But that's one thing when Halo moved in the direction of giving you your own gear, I was like, okay, I quite like this, but it didn't feel as pure at points.
No,
because that's what Halo was. Halo was about getting that item in the middle. That's
what all arena multiplayers are about.
Yeah,
it's about work. Like everyone's dropped into arena with their same health, same guns, like a little pea shooter, and it's all about map knowledge and map manipulation, getting to the best weapons, working out how to survive. So if you're not going to get the best weapon, you have to go and get the armor to survive it.
It's a MOBA idea. It's what MOBAs exist on now as well.
Yeah,
but it's just completely different. Me and her Steph's got a video. No, me and Snoop were singing "Keep Fishing" by Weezer. And it was like he would go, what was it? Waste my day, waste my day. That's what we were doing all the way in the car, and I couldn't stop laughing. Another way, that breaks my heart to see with someone else. We were just doing that, and I was doing the high part, and he was doing the low part, and now that's like me and Snoop's song that we sing along to.
So good. Kerrang 2?
Kerrang 2, the album. Yeah. Kerrang 2 and 3 are the ones that we were saying. Or no, it was 3. It would be 3. It wouldn't be 2.
That's high voltage, I think. High voltage.
Okay, it wouldn't be Kerrang because Kerrang 2. Kerrang 2 was like crash pipe.
Yeah.
Dum 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 dum.
There's a half part.
Break my day, break my day, I'm in the way, tugging away, it breaks my heart. That's so
beautiful, guys. Beautiful.
Do you not remember that song?
I do. The
Muppet song.
I remember.
Yeah.
What's my day? It's me and Snoop's drunk sing along song. Steph's got a video of us just singing it in the car.
Oh dear,
it's great.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Doom's going to have any sort of offline stuff, which is sad.
But again, it's really, unless it's a feature that these companies can use, online's become too much of a thing. Things being an esport, although Doom's not been marketed as an esport, has it? Are they talking about making that an esport?
Pass.
Because I don't know how it plays. I've not actually tried it.
It's really fun. It's not quite the callback to arena shooters I would have hoped it was going to be, because it still has loadouts and things like that.
We're still moving towards that.
It's mostly going to be about the campaign as well, because it's Doom and not Quake. But it could move towards competitive. I mean, all games seem to move towards competitive multiplayer these days. But
I love the idea of having competitive multiplayer and things. But but that you can still have fun with. But I think the next year, 2 years, we're going to see a lot of like games in general for consoles trying to find that esports niche. Yeah, trying to find the success that League of Legends has, but to the console market.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of companies trying it, and it'll be interesting to see if they work. But none of them have come up with that, that angle of approaching it that no one's thought of. That
Halo 5 is working really well. It's working
really well, but I mean, as in waiting for that one that does it in a way that you wouldn't expect, like the Portal moment where you're like, this is how this works. This is amazing.
We didn't talk about Portal.
Portal, that's another good one. Portal 2. Because but again, that game's mechanics, that remixing it, that game's mechanics lended so well to that style of gameplay as well.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for that game that comes out that really makes you think that's the direction this sort of competitive environment could go. That really has that Call of Duty grab, that like sort of hold over the sort of console space that we don't have. Because that's the thing now. What happens is a competitive game comes out and people talk about it for a month, and then it goes down to its hardcore community.
Yeah,
we don't get.
You're never going to have anything outside of the hardcore community. I mean, it's like people. The hardcore community is what makes this thing work. You don't even have to be that hardcore. I mean, you just have to have an interest in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why esports is still slowly taking off. I mean, it's huge in the East, obviously, but.
And in the PC space.
but with the Westerners, I mean, it's just not the sort of thing that the majority of gamers really care about. I mean, they like playing the games, but the competitive part of watching it's just not the same.
Yeah, and I don't think they will ever have anything that has that local grab the same way. Like they couch split screen co-op competitive multiplayer on a very local level. I'm just not sure. Outside of fighting games, because that's where they live. As good as online gets, that will never move away from the sort of being in the room. Yeah, exactly.
Having two controllers and just having fun.
Exactly.
Or getting wrecked.
Like it'll never move away from that. But
because then you can shout right in their face and see the real reaction, and not just like, "Oh, I'm okay, mate," online.
The pop-offs, I know, but it's sad that we've kind of moved away from it. But it doesn't mean you can't go back and play these games. Like you said yourself, it's a reason to get together with people and actually play them.
Yeah.
So I think that's at least a silver lining to it all. It's not like these games have gone. We can still play them.
Yeah.
Mark still has them all in his vault.
So, apart from obviously Gears of War having split screen, I think it's just campaign, not actual multiplayer anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not as impressive as you think. But really what we're saying is the golden age of split screen lasted from around 1992 with a Super Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo, all the way up to about 2013 with Halo 4. And now it's dead. Just like my soul.
That's what the thumbnail will be. It'll be a gravestone, and it'll have the golden age of split screen.
Just a little timeline.
From this to this, we loved you dearly.
No, but then it'll also have like a split down the middle, or like an X.
That's a great shot. We have the thumbnail. Okay. But no, I think that's a good signing off point.
Yeah, it's been a pretty grim episode. Now this thing that you like
kind of funny. I find it kind of sad.
But that's
sad Affleck.
In a way, that's the best thing about Memory Card Lane. It's a stroll down Memory Card Lane and remembering what gaming was, and sadly is not really anymore.
Yeah. So sad.
Because you don't get any good 2D platformers anymore either, really.
No. Well, no, we're moving back that in indie sort of space, but I know what you mean. It's not going to be the big thing that it ever was back then. But we have UbiArt. Fiddling with all these different syllables, but it just makes isosceles.
It's been a while
since I've could.
When I close my eyes.
Head up.
It's been 2 weeks. Come on, guys.
3.5 weeks.
3.5 of this weekly podcast.
This Wednesday will be 4 weeks. When this comes out,
really, it's been 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Man, cool. Time flies when you're doing other things.
Let's get back on it. Let's do this.
Welcome back to CMG Console Me Gaming.